All right. Well, thank you all, of course, for coming out, and we're going to do our very best. Very, very early in this investigation. There's clearly a lot more for us to find out. It's the 4th of July. It's supposed to be a holiday, obviously. We have started our day here in Martin County somewhat differently than we had anticipated. Right at about 6:15, 6:16 this morning, we got a call from a bank company alerting us to what appeared to them to be a burglary in progress at the Chase Bank right here behind me. What they were doing was actually watching it on video as a suspect, who we can identify here before this is over, used a sawzall, a metal cutting device, to cut into a night deposit. So you've seen the night deposits have that little serrated flap. You open it up. What it appeared to them was that he was cutting into that night deposit and then fishing something out with what they described as a large fishing gaff, which is just a large fiberglass object with a big curved steel hook on it. Our deputies arrived right at 6:20, and within moments, the responding deputy advised that there were shots fired. Our deputies responded, backups responded, found the suspect had been shot multiple times, and they began giving him first aid. Actually, the early reports, one of our deputies talked to him and said, "Hey buddy, you can make it, just hold on." He did receive serious gunshot wounds. The initial investigation and why the shots were fired reveals and appears to indicate clearly that the suspect, when confronted by the responding deputy, rather than surrender, rather than give up, attacked the deputy with that long gaff fish hook, and I'll try to get you guys a picture of that later. The deputy, fearing for his safety, opened fire on the suspect, and he was hit multiple times. Our air rescue units responded and transported the suspect to Longwood Hospital in St. Lucie County, where he is currently being operated on. I think we can describe his condition, at least for now, as stable. The suspect, whose name I'll give you in a second, has an extensive criminal history, including a series of this type of burglaries throughout South Florida. He's been convicted for multiple counts of burglaries, and I think at one point a robbery of a bank. And we've released his name now. He's a 46-year-old white male, Gerard Bellafour, G-E-R-A-R-D, Bellafour, B-E-L-L-A-F-I-O-R-E, and he's from Dania, Florida. So with that, if there's anything I haven't answered, I'd be glad to answer questions.
Now, it looks like there's surveillance video, or is it just pictures? The video?
Yeah, the question is, was there surveillance video? The answer is yes. We have very clear video. We have not gotten the download on that yet. We have still pictures, which we've released some of those to you all. As soon as we get all the video, we'll make that public.
What can you describe to us? Have you seen the video? What the video shows?
The question is, have I seen the video? No, I have not seen the video yet. But the initial statements from the monitoring companies, they actually saw him with the sawzall. I think we released a picture, a photograph, a still to you all, with him holding a large sawzall, which is the method of operation that he seems to have found success in before.
So he's done this before with this type of implement?
Yeah, the question is, he's done this before with this kind of implement. The answer is yes. This is not the first time. This is the first time he picked a bank in Martin County, and I would imagine it will be the last time he picks a bank in this county.
Tell us, what can you tell us about the deputy at this point? How long has he been on the force?
The question is, tell you about the deputy. He is a relatively new deputy, but he has 13 years experience down south with the Miami-Dade Police Department. We're still in the process of getting a hold of his family, so we will release his name probably before the day is over. But right now, just to be careful, we want to make sure his family hears it from us first.
And were there any injuries to the deputy?
Question, is there any injuries to the deputy? No, thankfully he was not injured. Certainly could have gone a lot worse, and you see pictures of that gaff. I do understand from some of your reporters, some people are not sure what a gaff is, but it's a large handled hook, a big hook, steel sharp hook, used to gaff large fish out of the ocean. Once you cut a fish, you gaff the fish. It's a big hook.
Have you ever seen something like that used in a robbery before?
The question, have I ever seen something like that used in a robbery before? Actually, he wasn't That tool was an implement. What he was really doing was he was cutting away that cover that you see in a night deposit. You know, you push it up, it's kind of hard, and then goes down slowly. And what he did was he cut that whole cover out, and then he took that gaff and was reaching down in, and it actually had a homemade device where there were flashlight, had lights on it, flashlight, batteries, and lights. And you could look down in there and hook out the night deposit. It's the 4th of July weekend. This would be the ideal time to do it, obviously, because the banks would have been closing up, and this is where people were dropping off their money.
And did he attack the deputy with it?
Yes, we're still very early in the investigation, but based on the evidence we see where the gaff is, statements the deputy made initially, yes, he went after the deputy with the gaff, and then the shots were fired. I think if you look at the pictures we released, we have a suspect in a Freddy Krueger style mask. It's early in the morning, the lighting is probably diffused at that point. Our deputy gets out and he's got a Freddy Krueger type suspect with an object in his hand coming at him, and the deputy clearly felt that his life was in jeopardy, and he did what he's trained to do, and that was use deadly force to protect himself.
Sure, can you explain how the holiday weekend played in, because there's more money in the holiday? How does that work?
Yeah, the question is, how did the holiday weekend, what happens is because it is a holiday weekend, people were probably staying open later on Friday, and then through Saturday there was no bank activity. So if you had a business and you would have normally come Monday morning to make a deposit, you couldn't have done it today because the bank's closed. So there would have been quite a sum of money in there.
Is there normally more activity, or throughout your career have you seen more activity on a holiday weekend like today?
Yeah, the question is, do we see more activity? 4th of July is traditionally a drinking holiday. So what we anticipate on the 4th would be incidents out on the water, you know, boating while intoxicated. We do get more traffic crashes. Families are coming together, sometimes not normally together, so we get domestic. We certainly don't anticipate armed bank burglaries. Okay, well, thank you all very much, and we'll have some updates before the day's over, and we'll release the condition of the suspect as well as the name of the deputy before the day is over. Thank you very much.